It's good to test audio without talking.
Okay, wait.
Here.
You say something.
I say something, you say something.
You say something?
I say something.
I'll say something. Wait. No, you go.
You say something,
wait,
I'll say
no,
something.
hang
I
on.
say something, you say something.
You say something. I'll say something. I'll say something. You say something.
We say something.
We say something.
I say something.
I say something.
That is something else.
Should we clap?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Hi, I'm Maggie.
And I'm Amanda.
And we're sisters.
In law.
We're watching Suits one episode at a time.
It's a show so nice, I've watched it twice.
And a show so great, I'm watching it late.
Thanks so much for tuning in.
Maggie's never seen it and Amanda's obsessed. They don't wear fancy suits, they are casually dressed. They are sisters-in-law and they got a show about a law firm drama that aired a few years ago. Only Suits fans, only Suits fans. Only Suits fans, only Suits fans. Only Suits fans, only Suits fans. Only Suits fans.
You know what? You know what else is crooked?
What?
You know what else is crooked? Laws, suits.
Yeah, lawyers
Lawyers are crooked.
are crooks.
And I think the other thing is Suits LA having 13 episodes felt surprising to us.
Yeah.
Because if you listened last week, episode 9, we talk a lot about the season finale episode coming up.
And it's
season-
still coming up.
The season finale episode, and we're like, it's next week. Here
Should
we
we-
go.
Yeah. Should we just do our intro?
Yeah, let's intro it.
Okay.
Hello and welcome to Only Suits Fans. I'm Maggie.
And I'm Amanda. And we're sisters in
In
law.
law.
We're interrupting our recap of the original Suits to cover this incredible gift that is Suits LA.
Today we are recapping season 1, episode 10, Slugfest, which we just watched.
We just watched it. And
We were like, why is this episode all about Stuart? It's the season finale. And then,
you
you
see
know
that?
what? Yeah, you know what it wasn't?
it wasn't the season finale.
It wasn't. There's 3 more episodes of Suits LA.
Should I just read this brief, get it over with?
Yeah, read the brief.
Dude, this was wild. Okay.
Also, when I was like, you have to write the brief, you're like, I always write the brief.
I know, I sounded like a little 4-year-old.
I always have to write the brief.
It was at 10, and I was in there doing laundry. You're like, we still need to write predictions, and you're on brief duty. And I was like, I'm always on brief duty.
As you're folding your briefs.
I didn't fold them. I just was trying to shift them out of there, get them out of the dryer, because I needed the dryer to not be going off in the middle of this
Very
high-tech podcast recording.
Yeah, I mean, nothing could go
No.
wrong.
No. All right, here's the brief. All good things must come to an end, but not tonight. Just like a courtroom can surprise you, so can a show. In a hair-tastic flashback, Ted and Stuart are super surprised when they each get to play a wild card in their mock trial. Rick is surprised to learn that Erica doesn't want to be with him. Or does she? Ted is surprised that Amanda didn't wait for him to make a decision about their non-existent relationship, so they can't be together. Or can they? Stuart is surprised to find out that David Bowie is a murderer after is a murderer, but now he's safe from him thanks to Ted. Or is he? I guess we won't have to wait until season 2 to find out all the answers, because this show still has 3 more episodes.
13 episodes. in
Lucky
Suits LA.
13. Unlucky for us, because we did not plan accordingly. But it's okay. We're going to be fine.
We'll flex it. We're improvisers.
Improvisers.
We're so good at the unknown.
We are. We're just shocked. We literally, I almost popped some popcorn tonight because I thought it was going to be the season finale.
I was like, I have to wear my Harvey Specter School of Law sweater because I'm going to the
season finale party.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, this was a shock because when it first was released, it had 10 episodes, and Pearson had 10 episodes.
Yeah.
Suits, the original Suits had 12 episodes.
I was going by what the internet told me.
Suits LA says 13. AI-generated Google response says 10 episodes still, and we know that there's 13.
I think what we learn here, Maggie, is that sometimes there are things on the internet that we can't trust.
I didn't know that until tonight.
Well, I know it's a hard lesson to learn,
It was.
but I'm glad we were here together.
Me too.
And we both learned that the internet cannot always be trusted.
It's a dangerous
Because we
place out
completely banked on this being the season finale. We scheduled our lives around this being the season
there. Yeah,
finale.
this was it. This was it for us. And that's why we're also a little late getting started live.
Because we
I
had to
think
sit there and look at each other being like, WTF? How did we miss
20
this?
minutes we were like, wait, what?
What? How did we miss it? Anyways,
Yeah,
we can't
it was
change
very
it.
like Harvey, Donna kissing Harvey and him being like, what? She likes me?
likes me?
Yeah. It was that feeling because it's like, oh, this could be a good thing, but also I was not expecting
I mean,
it.
we love more episodes, by the way.
Yeah, I'm very excited for more
We're
episodes.
like literally manifesting that this is just getting a season 2.
We manifested it too hard. It started
yeah.
like, it was like, oh, oops, wait, no,
Hang on, we need you to get these last 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we should jump into it.
Let's jump in. You want to go ahead and kick us off with little BC?
Okay, before the credits, we have a flashback at
Mm-hmm.
Columbia Law School 2005. Stuart's hair, immaculate. A little blonde wig that he's got going on.
Is
the
it a
top.
wig or do you think it's just combed over?
I mean, I think that is a wig for the sake of like costuming and wardrobe and makeup, hair and makeup. But I think we're supposed to be led to believe that he had a full set of hair in 2005 and that he dyed it blonde.
Okay. Well, I think he has a full set of hair now, doesn't he? He just combs
He
it
does.
back.
Yeah.
He's got some hair.
I don't think that's his hair though. It was so blonde.
That's fair.
And looked very emo. Like emo, but he still has the beard.
To be fair, your youngest kind of had emo hair, like the real blonde, like long until it got cut.
Yeah. Today we buzzed it. He kept saying shorter. And I was like, oh, please no.
Okay.
Anyways, they're talking because Ted and Stuart are both like neck and neck for being the valedictorian of Columbia Law School. I don't know if they call it top of the class, the number 1 spot. Turns out they are actually tied, which has never happened in the history of Columbia Law School. And so the only way to determine who is the number 1 guy in this group is by doing a mock trial. Which I'm like, yay, I love mock trial. This is so great.
Yeah, we love a mock trial.
Ted's, of course, going to be prosecution.
Yeah, Stuart will
is, of
be
course,
the
me.
defense, and they can both change one fact about the case, which is really interesting.
Super interesting.
That the judge is like, well, it's because there's always a curveball, right?
Right. You can't be so practiced on what's on the paper because there's always going to be something.
I love that it was called Moot Court. That was the name of their court. Did you see the banner hanging in the background?
No.
It's called Moot Court. Like it doesn't matter. Like it's a moot point. So it's Moot Court, which I loved. I thought it was interesting because I'm, of course, trying not to compare, but I am comparing it to the mock trials from OG Suits, which were done inside of Pearson Spector.
Right.
Or Pearson Hardman at the time, I guess, when they first started out. So it was interesting to see them in a court of law doing it.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, but it was still the dean was sitting as right. It was still like all Columbia Law School students, but it looked more professional. Good to give them that experience as opposed to just being in the library.
So they're not like shocked, like when Mike went in to go up against Vivian Tanaka. His first case. If you haven't ever listened to season 1, episode 4 of our OG Suits, that one is a pretty good one.
Pretty good.
Vivian to knock you out.
Vivian to knock you out.
Stuart is staring into space in his kitchen. He's wearing his ass-kicking tie. And this is present day. And his wife is analyzing him. And Stuart tells her how Isaac told him he's responsible for that woman's death.
And she's like, well, maybe he's saying that because he feels responsible. Because she's a therapist.
Right.
So she's actually a very good therapist.
Yes.
Not like Paula.
Right.
And she's not taking on Stuart as a client. They were in a relationship. And now she just happened to be a therapist.
Yeah.
Then we see Stuart again. So all of these before credits are with Stuart, and he is playing the footage of David Bowie at the producer's house, at Fisher's house. And he's showing them during this trial that he was not able to kill this woman because he was breaking into this man's house. And it's like, the judge is like, well, this is enough evidence for dismissal. Like, this is incredible evidence. But Isaac, the prosecutor, wants the right to question the person who owns this footage.
Right.
It seems a little too convenient.
Yeah. Tricky.
So they're going to have an opportunity, his day in court.
Yeah. So then we hear our favorite song, A Greenback Boogie. After the credits, we have another flashback. The boys are in their appointment.
This is all the flashbacks.
They love so many flashbacks, and it's so yellow and sunshiny and greeny and grainy, and it's all the things.
Yeah, it is. It doesn't look like there's sun anywhere.
No, but they have it the way that the light's hitting you. You'd think, huh?
It's so yellow.
It's so yellow.
Yeah.
The boys are in their appointment, the boys being Ted and Stuart. And Stuart wants to know if he and Ted are in a gunfight or a knife fight. And Ted says he is going to tear him to pieces. And Stuart says Ted will be the one crying. Ted asks if Eddie can play the brother in a coma because he wants to let Eddie like feel like he's a part of things and just kind of include him. He's a good big brother. Mm-hmm. They almost do the thing before they're on opposite sides, but they don't. So we don't really know what the thing is.
We're like, oh, is it a can opener? Is it a corkscrew? Thank you for the can opener.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I thought it meant it was a can opener because it was necessary, but also like
symbolic.
It's symbolic. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then we see also in flashback. We'll just do all the flashbacks ahead of time. So Stuart is then asking his future wife, Helen, to play the part of the therapist because she's going to school to become a therapist in the mock trial. And she really doesn't want to, but he wants her there because she was in love with a guy in high school who was good at debate. Mm-hmm. And he wants her to love him in the same way.
Yeah.
And see how good he is at mock trial.
Right. Then there's an opening statement in the mock trial by Ted saying that this trial will be short, but then Stuart moves for a directive verdict. He calls the father of the man on trial, and it's Ted's real father. or his daddy.
His daddy.
His dad admits to being the one driving, and Ted is pissed because Ted hates his dad, and he's calling calling the father of the person in the coma, and if Eddie's playing the person in the coma, he calls his real dad. It's so meta. It's so like, yeah.
It's just like Donna being interviewed by, like it's just all too much.
Yeah.
And it's also not Stuart's surprise, right? This doesn't count as Stuart's one surprise twist because he's just saying, no, I just picked this actor and it just happens to be his dad, but like he's doing what would happen in a real trial.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
So then we see the boys back in their apartment. Oh, nope, that's not what we see. Then we see Ted's daddy saying that he is doing this to see how Ted handles this conflict. And he's basically like, your mom raised you to be a weakling. And so I'm here to show you how to be tough and how to be a man and how to not be so wimpy. So suck it up and like defeat this guy. Be number one, you big baby.
Eddie doesn't like this.
No, he's like, stop fighting.
Yeah. And then Ted switches things up and makes his dad the new client as his change. And he rests his case and they'll pick it up tomorrow.
Yeah, he's like, well, he just confessed to murder, so I'm arresting him.
Yeah. Oh, man.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good thinking on his feet.
It was. It's also like interesting that they got to pick the one thing they wanted to change because then that means they're looking for tons of other ways to stump people without even doing a change is what it felt like.
Right. Which
I guess is actually probably how it is
in real life.
Yeah, in real life.
Yeah, it's also, I was thinking about in Suits with Oliver and how he gets so frazzled when he's in trial, or how he was originally really so frazzled in trial. And it's like Ted and Stuart are so quick on their feet and they're not frazzled. Yeah. They're like this. So really good prep and clearly shows why they're the top two guys in this.
Oh, absolutely.
Class. So then we see Stuart and Ted in the apartment again. And Ted compares his father to Adolf Hitler. He's like, he was a really, really bad dad.
Yeah.
And then he wonders, like, out loud, like, Stuart, how would you feel if I did something like that to you? And Stuart's like, well, you'd be doing it to win, like you'd be doing it for your client for the case, so I would understand. And Ted's like, that's so messed up. Which is interesting. Deposition, where do you fall in this?
What do you mean?
It's like a mock trial and you want to win, and also like it's all made up, right? But it's having like real life personal consequences. Where do you fall? What would, like, whose side are you on here, Ted or Stuart's?
Ooh, I don't know. I don't know whose side I'm on. I could argue both ways are right and wrong.
Yeah.
I think what sucks here is that it is all fake, but like there's some pretty strong egos here that are getting in the way of this.
Yeah.
And they're competing for who's going to be number one in their class.
Right.
Right?
But it's like, does that really matter?
It matters then.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's one of those things where like, it doesn't matter. It's kind of like, oh crap. Like I was mad when like I didn't get all A's.
Right.
Right?
Right.
It doesn't matter. Nobody has asked me, what was your GPA?
Exactly.
Nobody has asked me that.
But you, in the moment, it was like, this is important to me.
This was important. It was also like more something like I wanted to achieve, right? To like redeem myself from undergraduate work, which was subpar. And I don't even know how I got out of Texas A&M University. But in the moment it mattered, and it mattered to me. But like everybody else is like, who cares? And I'm like, well, it matters to me. I think it's how it is with them. Like it matters to them in the moment.
Yeah.
It's just interesting to see like, well, we know how it ends, but like,
yeah,
what they're willing to like almost sacrifice in order to win.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like too, Harvey is always like willing to do whatever it takes for his client, but he always tries to find a way to not sacrifice the relationships of the people around him.
That's fair.
And same with like Mike Ross, right? Like it might seem like he's sacrificing the relationship, but in the end he redeems them in some way and makes it good for everyone. And it's like Stuart is willing to do whatever it takes for his client, which is like who you want as a lawyer, of course. But he doesn't care about the fallout because he's like, you should understand, we're all in law. You should get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, would be the hard part of being a lawyer. Because if you're like also up against somebody on the other side that you know.
Yeah.
Trying not to take it personally.
Right.
But
I think they do take it personally.
My dad's told me stories where he's watched like, because we just had like a lot of friends who were lawyers, or my parents did growing up.
Yeah.
And how like sometimes he would just go and watch them in court, or like he was, and how he could see like two really good friends go at each other. Yeah. And then they just walk out the door and shake hands and go have lunch. Yeah. Yeah. And he's like, it was just fascinating to watch.
Because that's the game. Like, that's why I think I could be a good lawyer, because I'd of course get like frustrated and mad, but I don't think I would take it personally much longer.
If I beat you in the court of law, you wouldn't take it personally?
No, I'd be like, dang.
You wouldn't let me.
Yeah.
Like, I know dang, you would not let me.
Dang, good thing I've got an appeal.
You're like, I got 17 appeals.
Good thing I'm going to drain your bank
Good
account.
thing your initials are Amanda Appeal Austin, because get ready, I'm taking you to court again.
You won the battle, but who's going to win the war?
Yeah. But do you want to come over for dinner?
But yeah, come on over. It's Easter.
Okay. Let's see. Where are we?
We are at Stuart questioning his girlfriend Helen on the stand. So we're back at mock trial.
Yeah. So Stuart is questioning his girlfriend Helen on the stand. And she says, what father wouldn't lie to protect his son? But then Ted questions her and asks who paid the therapy bills. He asks if she is in a relationship with Stuart Lane and wants to marry him. And do you expect that the future wife wouldn't lie to protect her husband? And so she had disclosed this information to Ted in confidence that she loved Stuart. Right. And then he decides a couple of months later that he's going to use that against her in a moot court.
Okay, here's my question though. She is playing a character. She is not really this person's therapist. Couldn't she be like, I'm actually Ellen, not Helen, and I do not know that man? Like, yes, why does she have to, like... Stuart should have prepared her to be like, you are playing the role of a therapist.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like, he didn't set her up for success, because he should have been like, you can say whatever you want because this is a fake court.
Yeah. No, he totally did. It's kind of like when my mom says when she comes to watch an improv show and I cuss or I make a move that's not like super G-rated. Dirty. Yeah. She's like, it seems like if you're making it up, you could have made a different choice. And I said, there is some validity to that. Yeah. I was yes-anding what was happening in the scene.
Exactly. You don't ever go blue unless the scene calls for it.
Yeah. Except that one time that we had that show, Kyle went really blue.
Oh, yeah. With your parents in the audience.
It was great. Mm-hmm. It was so funny. It was so funny.
But then he was so embarrassed.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, I think that this is what I don't get. Because even, like... It makes sense when Donna Paulson is playing Donna Paulson, but it doesn't make sense when you're playing a therapist to a male client. Yeah. But she's very upset about this. Yeah. And she's like, I didn't even want to do this. And now Ted's revealed this personal information. And this is too much. Like, I hate this. And this is so awful. But Stuart's like, wait, but you love me and you want to marry me. Like,
he's like, this is good news.
Yeah. He's very, like, detached from the drama of the court.
Yeah. He's just there to literally follow the law.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Stuart walks back in and he calls Eddie to the stand. He's like, oh, I see you're Ellen and I'm going to raise you.
Yeah, because she's like, you better go in there and fix it. And so he's like, okay, I'll go in there. And
so
I'll
he calls
call Eddie.
And he can speak about both his brother and his father. Ted went after Helen, so Stuart's going to go after Eddie. And Ted objects. He's like, Your Honor, he was in a coma the entire time. He's like, he just woke up.
That's his change.
Yeah.
He's decided that's the change.
Yes.
Good on Stu, right?
Dude.
And Eddie's just
The
like,
surprise coma wake-ups. Those will get you every time in the court of law.
Well, that's like the second person who's been in a coma in Ted's New York career.
Yeah.
So maybe not as uncommon as you think.
That's fair. That's fair.
Then we see Ted, and he wants to know what Eddie is going to be asked on the stand. And Stuart says, I'll tell you exactly what he's going to do. He's going to read from a script, and the script basically says his dad's a great guy. Of course, he lied to protect his brother. His brother's a piece of shit. And Ted is like, you can't have Eddie do that because I'm his real brother, and that's his real dad.
And he doesn't understand the difference.
He can't. So he's going to read the script and then be so confused, and it's hurtful to me, and it's hurtful to Eddie, and my dad doesn't care because he is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Right? But Stuart's just like, well, you went after Helen, so.
Yeah. What do you think, Depo? Do you think that these are tit for tat here? Do you think this is a fair comparison?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know enough about Eddie, right? But it seems like it's not going to be good.
Yeah.
But Eddie seems to, be able to be like, stop fighting and like aware of tension. So I wonder if he will be aware of the tension that this is creating and not like to be a part of that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's the same idea. Like, Stuart should be able to find a way to get the same objective done without doing that. Okay, like make up another witness, the mom, right? Have the mom come.
Yeah. That's fair.
Or something.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to be Eddie, but he did Eddie because of Helen, and that feels just vindictive and not thoughtful.
Yeah.
Because Eddie's his family, too.
I agree.
Dang.
Dude, this one was wild. I mean, I think I said out loud, this is wild.
It was wild because it wasn't what I was expecting.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If you think back to the mock trials at Pearson Hardman, they went for the jugular. Like, they're
like foaming at the mouth to get a mock trial.
Yeah, they went hard.
Hard.
Yeah. It's always like, we love a good mock trial.
Mock trial.
Yeah.
Mock trial.
It's like a pizza party at work on crack, you know?
Like,
it's just like,
they're like,
what?
yeah.
Free lunch. Oh, okay. They're like, okay. Inclement weather, no internet, you know? Like, that's what it feels like back in the day when there was like inclement weather and you couldn't go to work. It's like, well, can't work from home. This is great.
God, we need to get back to that.
We need to get back to no internet. And the internet failed us today. It failed us a while back.
The internet failed us a lot.
Episodes 10 and 13. That's right. Yes. The internet's actually failed me many times.
The internet is on its last straw with me.
Yeah, I'm about over the internet, except that we will continue to post these episodes
on the internet.
Yeah, on the internet.
Yeah. The only thing it's good for.
Only Suits fans.
So here we are.
Yeah.
Helen is checking in on Stuart. And she's there basically because Ted came to talk to her. And so she's there to convince Stuart not to put Eddie on the stand. And she's like, you cannot do that.
Right.
And he's like, I just want to win. Like, I need this. Like, I need to show that I can do this. And she's like, well, I love you. I don't love Ted. And that's why I'm here telling you not to put Eddie on the stand.
Yeah.
Good lady, that Helen. I like Helen.
Lady. Yeah, she's nice. She's a nice lady.
She's a nice lady.
Ted tells his dad to change his plea to guilty, and his dad thinks he's going to try to win by cheating, but it's more about Eddie not taking the stand. Ted's dad will not do it to save Eddie. He tells him to toughen up or lay down and forfeit. His dad's a jerk.
Yeah, he's like, I would have done it if you were trying to cheat, but I'm not going to do it if you're trying to be on principle. Man of honor.
Right. Eddie tells them to stop fighting from the stand. Stuart walks in to say he is not going to call any more witnesses, and then the defense rests. And then Ted withdraws his case, saying that they got the wrong guy. Ted's daddy then tells him he is weak, and Ted and Stuart do their secret buddy handshake, and Eddie gets in on the group hug. So all is well.
All is well, yeah. It's like, you're weak. And then he's like, walks out, and then they do the most ridiculous, like...
It's just like... Like, I was expecting something a lot more in depth.
Well, you're Parent Trap. You were expecting Parent Trap.
Sure.
You know, like you were expecting
Colonize
a real high five.
Colonize is next level.
Is it the Parent Trap one?
No.
I've never seen you do a high five.
Ours isn't a high five. It's like a whole dance
I have
thing.
not once ever seen this.
Wait, really?
No.
I think we did it once in a show.
Oh, you might have, but I thought it was improvised.
Oh, wait, you've never seen it?
I've never seen you guys do your amazing high five.
It's not a high five. It's
I've
like
never
a
seen you
dance
do your song
thing.
and dance.
It's like a chant.
Do you say words?
Yeah.
What are the words you say?
I can't believe I'm doing this one. It doesn't make sense without Kyle.
Oh, because you only say half of them?
No, we say them together. But we have like a dance. It's like Rauken, 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 yoga flame, yoga flame, yoga flame, Aichi, 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 ring of fire, ring of fire, ring of fire, get over here, get over here, get over here.
No, that made sense.
You should ask him about it.
I'll ask him to do it, and then I'll get the other side of the story.
It's Rauken, Rauken.
Yeah, like from
Rauken.
Street Fighter?
Yeah. And then Aichi, 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 we kick our leg around, and then we go ring of fire, then get over here, get over here. Yeah.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Well, how old were you when you made this?
Like teens. I think. I don't recall us being young. I recall this being something we did in our older ages. Still living in the same household, but we were teens.
All in high school.
Yeah.
That's even better.
I'm pretty sure we were at least teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember this being an elementary school thing at all.
No. You wouldn't have been doing Street Fighter references in elementary
No.
school. This had to be high school.
I think it was like high school.
Yeah.
Middle school, high school, yeah.
Ring of fire, ring of fire.
Ring of fire. Get
over
over
here.
here.
Get over here.
Yeah. That's
I
what
love
we do.
it. Beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you to do that.
Okay.
Live.
With him?
Yeah.
Okay, we
For
can do
me.
that.
Thank you.
We'll do it. We'll do a video of it and you can post it on the Instagram. On the show
Perfect.
notes.
There's in the show notes.
Yeah.
There it will live.
There you go. All right.
Okay, so here we
to
are.
it.
We're back to the flashback.
We need a handshake though, by the way. We do. We need a handshake.
I was like,
Get this footage. Capture it. Put it on the web. We need a handshake.
We need one.
What would our handshake be?
It'd be, should we clap? And then we'd go like,
Oh, we forgot to clap.
oh, should we?
We'll clap at the end and I almost said rub it back in. I'll edit it back in. I'm not going to rub it back in.
This is so spiraled.
I am so drunk on this non-alcoholic drink. It's called Mingle, brought to you by Mingle Mocktails.
Oh, wait, you know what? Oh my God. We have a fake sponsor.
We do?
Yeah. Okay. Our neighbor, our friends, Anna and Ryan, she accidentally ordered 4 cases of Dark Horse Rosé.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And some things you should know about Dark Horse Rosé is it gets a bad rap, but in a blind taste test, people thought it was valued at twice the price of what it actually goes for. So she is marketing this summer as the summer of Dark Horse.
Okay.
And she said we can advertise that on our podcast.
What do we get for it?
I think we could possibly get 1 to 2 cases of Dark Horse Rosé.
Okay. You can have all of it.
Yeah. Well, it's honestly very good.
Is it so bad that it tastes non-alcoholic?
It is actually good.
Okay.
And I did not have, I had 3 glasses and I felt fine.
Okay, so
Like
this is
the
brought
next
to you
day.
by Dark Horse Rosé.
The summer of Dark Horse.
Horse.
But also non-alcoholic IPA. I just loved the summer of Dark Horse. I was like, that's actually
good.
great.
What are we, a challenge to ourselves is to go off on our own. Think about what a good handshake would really be for us.
Yes.
And then come back in season 2 and
That sounds
open
good.
up season 2 Suits LA with our
With a
secret handshake.
I think that's great.
It'll be remote. So we have to come up with something to do remote.
Remotely, more like hand gestures.
Yeah.
Like something.
Yeah, I'll just go to the camera. Get over here. Get over here.
We just pop up from, okay, I'm inspired.
Okay, let's cut to this scandalous one. Oh, goodness, I didn't even know how much we had left. Okay.
So Scandal, David Bowie.
Not the show, but also excellent.
Excellent show, but this show is also excellent at Suits LA. If you tuned in thinking this was Scandal, wrong pod. So we are now with David Bowie, not the real David Bowie. He's on trial for murder, but there's this tape, this whole deal. And Stuart, his attorney, is great.
Yeah.
Rick goes to see Erica because she does not want Greg Fisher, the producer, to have to air all of his dirty laundry, talk about this sex tape, talk about who the sex tape is with, all of this. Because the sex tape is with a woman who is married to the head producer that does all of his films.
Right.
So that would be very, very bad if that got out. And Rick's like, well, why don't you just go to Stuart? And she goes, because Stuart, I used this as leverage to get this artifact back from my mom, this art piece. And Stuart took it from me in a real shady way.
Yeah, it's so weird. They're like not telling why. Like they really drag they do a lot of that. Like this thing happened and we're not going to tell you how. And they almost did it. It almost felt like there's going to be a flashback.
Almost.
Because she just sat there and looked and I go, oh, flashback. And then
it wasn't.
It wasn't one. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But then Rick goes to confront Stuart, and he's like, you need to make sure that he does not get dragged into this case. And he's kind of aggressive, and like Rick is with Stuart.
Yeah.
And Stuart's like, well, I mean, I work for the client, so I'll do my best, but if I need to, I will 1,000% mention the sex tape.
Yeah. Rick says he owes Erica. It's because he wants her to owe him some loving too.
That's why he's trying to come to her defense. That's why he's so upset too.
Yeah. Okay, so Fisher is at trial, and Erica tells him he will not have to talk about the sex tape. And before she can confirm with Stuart, Amanda calls to ask about Sierra Carson to get some background on her. And Stuart tells Erica to make no guarantees.
Yeah, she's like, I gotta go because I gotta talk to Stuart. Stuart, please don't do this. And he's like, like he says the same thing he says to Rick.
Yeah,
he's here for the client.
Yeah.
So then Fisher is on the stand and he admits to not having called the police after the jewels and the necklace and the money was stolen. And Isaac, this prosecutor's like, well, that sounds really fishy to me. And it sounds like maybe you're trying to cover this up because you've worked with David Bowie before.
Right.
And so this is so super suspicious. And the judge is like, this does sound really suspicious. So the trial will move forward. And Stuart's like, wait. What if I can show beyond a reasonable doubt, like beyond a shadow of a doubt, that this man hates my client? And he's like, let's bring up the sex tape.
Oh, man. Let's bring it up.
Let's bring it up. Let's air all that dirty laundry.
Stuart asked Fisher about the item that was stolen and retrieved, and he asked him point blank what the item was.
And then he tells him who was in the sex tape.
Yeah.
Like he's
like, it was a sex tape. Stuart asked if the affair could ruin his career, and he's like, well, I guess we're about to find out. And he names the woman on the tape, and then the judge dismisses the charges. Depo, is it a good idea to have an affair? First question. Second of all, is it a good idea to have a sex tape of that affair?
No and no.
Great.
I do wonder if she was aware of the sex tape.
It doesn't matter. One of them was aware of the sex tape, and that's going to ruin somebody.
Yeah, but extra fucked for her.
Yeah.
Right?
Do you think he was doing it?
I think you should.
Do you think he was filming it so that he could have it as blackmail?
Maybe. Who knows? These guys are shady AF.
Gosh. Also, aren't sex tapes so like 2007 or something?
Yes. Like, who even cares about a sex tape anymore?
I don't know.
I guess the husband would.
Yeah.
But otherwise,
that person cares in that moment, but everybody else is like,
everyone's
what?
like, okay.
It's kind of like your grades. Right?
Yeah. It's like whatever. It's just like trying to win mock trial.
Right.
Okay. So here we are then, and this is wonderful. Everything's been dismissed, but Stuart has thrown everyone who cares about him under the bus to get this to happen. And then as Isaac is leaving, he's like, you and I both know David Bowie did this. And he kind of like whispers it to him.
Wait, where are we on this?
Well, then now Stuart's reviewing all the footage.
Oh, yeah. He is reviewing the footage. And he's realized that the footage is doctored. And he believes that David Bowie did murder the innocent woman. And he's like upset, like verklempt, if you will.
Which also, I thought it was weird when they showed the footage that David Bowie would take his mask off right in front of the camera.
Right.
I was like,
so
this
performative.
Is so weird.
Yeah.
Like, why is he doing that? And it's because it was completely doctored and not real.
Yeah.
And he tells Samantha comes in on him and he's like, just take the win.
Yeah, he's like, hey, I don't like this client in this case either, but take the win and move on.
Right.
And then Helen comes in to check on him because he didn't come home when he should have. Could have been a text or a call, but then again, it's always good to show up in person on these shows. I understand why this is different. He can't just take the win because he does feel like he has the blood on his hands.
Like, he literally murdered a woman is how he feels.
Yeah, he didn't, but he is responsible for it.
Right.
Right. It's almost kind of like he ordered the kill, or he ordered the hit.
Feels like it's
what it feels like. Yeah.
So then Erica walks in to tell Rick that Greg Fisher has dropped her as a client, and she's pissed. But Rick is like, actually, you're here because you want to date me. And I'm like, I don't know. I think she is kind of pissed and might have wanted to tell you face to face that she's hurt.
Yeah.
But then they get close again, close to touching the groins.
Yeah.
And she says she can't. And he says, well, then I can't. I can't do this anymore.
Like, we can't be near each other. We got to stay away.
Keep the space.
Yeah. Stuart goes to see Isaac at his house, but David Bowie interrupts him, and Stuart tells him he knows he's a murderer. David confesses to killing Janet Fields.
Just off the bat.
He's like, I did kill her. But he knows that he won't have to kill Stuart. He says there is nothing that he won't do to avoid going to prison. He was like, I'll do whatever I have to do. But then Ted was there recording everything David just said, and we find out that Ted was there because Helen called and gave him a heads up.
Yeah, Helen wanted Ted to just tell Stuart not to go, but instead Ted was like, he's gonna go, so I'll just go and pretend to film birds so I can get on footage and on audio David Bowie threatening Stuart.
This is why, like, security cameras and, like, home cameras are so good for evidence, because they were already filming.
Yes. Which is funny, because sometimes, like, there'll be... we were watching, like, Sonic or something. Oh, yeah, we were watching Sonic, and Sonic's running around the baseball field, which triggers this whole power outage and all of this. And MJ was like, that probably couldn't happen now because of security cameras. And I was like, you're right. They would have immediately looked at the footage and seen that it was Sonic.
Wow, that's crazy what kids know.
But it's also because that's how when they're, like, nervous about things, I'm like, don't worry, there's security cameras everywhere.
Your kids? Wow.
Because sometimes they're like, what if a bad guy breaks in? And I was like, literally, like, there's so many cameras around everywhere. If they did, they would immediately get found.
Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy. Ted puts Stuart to bed.
Yeah, he goes and
he
walks
goes up
to
there,
bed.
and then he's like, he's going to shower, and he's going to go to bed. He's all good up there. Helen thanks him for his help and then calls him family.
It's so sweet. And then Stuart's in the mirror just looking at himself, and I was like, oh, man, he's going to shave his beard.
That's what you think?
I think so. That's my official prediction.
And then Erica is looking at old photos of her and Rick on the laptop, and Rick is playing the guitar by himself. Erica is debating texting Rick.
We think. She's, like, holding the phone, and she's, like, shaking it.
Should
like,
I, shouldn't I, should I? Yeah.
And he's just sitting there playing guitar.
Yeah. Like you do.
Like you do.
Yeah, like you do.
Okay, short storyline, this last one, is Amanda trying to get Sierra Carson, which I think is important because there are 3 more episodes, and I think Sierra Carson's going to be an important part of them.
Okay.
So Amanda is not willing to have this conversation with Ted about taking over defense or, like, having a relationship. She's already decided she's going to be leading.
Because he went to New York for a week, and he didn't call her or talk to her or anything.
Right. Yeah, so
she's like, okay, well, actions speak louder than words.
So I'm taking the job.
Yeah.
I'm doing this.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, I have this potential high-profile case. And she shows it to him, and he's like, great. But she has not actually signed Sierra Carson. So Ted's like, well, then we're already off to a bad foot because you should actually have her signed already before you even present it to me. He's kind of a dick.
Yeah.
A little snippy.
A little bit. Amanda interrupts Sierra Carson's trial to file a motion for her, and then calls her court-appointed attorney incompetent. She is in a conservatorship. I always have a hard time with that word. Conservatorship. Yes?
Conservatorship.
Conservatorship.
Conservator. Conservationship?
It's conservator.
It is conservatorship.
Amanda was also emancipated from her father, so she gets it. So that's how she, like, woos Sierra over to become her client.
Yes, because Sierra's, like, a famous actor, pop star, something.
Yeah.
But she has this court-appointed attorney because she is under the impression that she has no money.
Right.
And Amanda's like, that's not true. So come with me.
Come on, girl, you got it.
Come on. It was so dramatic. I love Amanda.
I know, she's my favorite one.
She's my favorite. And this was so Harvey Specter. Just show up and do the right thing.
Yeah, she's so great.
She's great.
Yeah.
So then Amanda presents Ted with what could be a really flashy press release because she has officially signed Sierra. And she has a good relationship with her stepfather because when this happened, we were kind of like, I thought she was like an heiress, right? That's her stepfather.
Okay.
Her biological father is a different story.
Okay.
Not a good relationship.
Okay.
So they both kind of apologize to each other for being a little snippy and all of this. And she says, this is how it has to be for now.
Yeah.
You know, like, we're not going to double dip.
Yeah, because he had said, I kind of had my feelings hurt. Because, like, he seemed upset that she just decided to go ahead and move on. Mm-hmm. And it felt like he was coming in earlier in the episode to tell her, hey, maybe we should be together.
Be in a relationship.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was too late.
Yeah, it was too late.
But she also had her feelings hurt.
Yeah.
But they have to kind of just play it cool for
They have to play it cool for now. And then Samantha pours herself a glass to drink by herself, and then Ted walks right by Amanda sitting at her desk in the office.
Which is kind of setting up for your prediction of these two women that Ted is going to have to choose between.
Yeah. And I made some predictions here about it, but I also, as I was typing it, I was like, this could actually go completely the opposite way. So I just want to say that for the record.
Sometimes that's how predictions feel.
Yeah.
It's like this, it's going to be one of two things.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Speaking of, it's sometimes hard to know what those one of two things are until you actually get to prediction town.
Right.
So I was wondering if you would want to go with me.
Let's do it.
All aboard. It's Whiskey's favorite part when we get off the train.
He always looks up. He's like, you ladies.
He looks up. Okay.
Enjoy your travel.
Go for it.
Okay, here's my first prediction. I think there are going to be 3 more episodes of Suits LA.
Okay. Okay.
Call me crazy.
Okay.
I also think that Sierra Carson's case is going to be huge. I think it's going to be like the Free Britney coded, right? Like the conservatorship, this pop star who doesn't know what, like how to navigate the court system, all of this. And I also think this is how Louis Litt comes in, which I had predicted. I think Louis Litt is representing her father in the financials of the conservatorship.
Oh, interesting.
We'll see.
Okay. All right. Love it.
And then I also think that Stuart, when he's looking in the mirror, will buzz off his beard.
Okay. You're just in a buzz mood, though.
I've been buzzing heads all day. I buzzed both boys' heads because, like, Arthur wanted his hair off of his forehead. And so I was like, well, we can just slick it back. And he's like, no, I want it cut. So I started to cut his hair. Then Robbie was like, I want my hair cut. And then they just kept going shorter, shorter. So we just buzzed them all.
Okay.
And then MJ was like, I want a buzz head. And I was like, gosh, I just think you need to sit on that a little bit.
Yeah.
I was like, because this is like, and I don't mean to put gender stereotypes on things, but I was like, we are going to be moving. And you are going to be meeting new friends. And you might, hair doesn't just grow back real quick.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I was like, so you have to sit on that for a week.
Okay.
But I gave her bangs, which I feel like most people would say you should sit on that for a week.
Yeah, for sure.
So I gave her a very dramatic haircut.
It's cute.
It's cute.
Yeah.
But it's not buzzed.
That's fair.
But I think it's fine.
That's fair.
She promised me that, well, she was like, no one's even going to notice I got my hair cut. And I was like, everyone is going to notice you have got your hair cut. And she promised me that if no one notices that she got her hair cut, then I can give her a buzz cut. But if people notice she got a haircut, then she'll keep it as is.
Okay.
And I said, you have to be honest.
You could also tell her, no, she's not getting her hair buzzed.
I know. But this is an honesty test, you know?
Okay.
This is a litmus test.
All right. How are you going to verify? Trust but verify.
Because I think that it's going to be obvious that people said that.
Yeah.
I'll even say, I'll be like, oh, really? Because Miss Mansky texted me. Your teacher texted me.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
What a cute haircut.
What a cute haircut.
You come over tomorrow and be like, oh my gosh, your hair.
I've already said something about it.
Not to her, though. Say it to her face.
Okay.
Be like, oh my gosh.
Okay.
You know?
It's fair.
Then I won't have to buzz.
Got it. I'll come over. Tell me what time. Okay. Here are my predictions. Erica is going to change her mind about Rick, and it's going to be too late.
He's going to find someone else.
Amanda.
Honey.
Yeah. Amanda's going to change her mind about Ted, and it won't be too late.
It won't be.
Samantha's going to change her mind about Ted, and it will be too late.
Ooh.
But I could be wrong on those.
Those could be flippy-floppied.
Yeah. Maggie's going to record the next 2 episodes with a special guest because I'll be out of town, and it'll be way too late.
It's true.
Yeah.
I will.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have a very special guest on the next 2 episodes. Buckle up.
Buckle up.
It's going to be someone that you may recognize. Someone you may know. Someone who...
And then they'll get to meet Kyle, my brother, and your husband.
Kyle.
Yeah.
My
He's
husband,
going to
your
come on
brother.
one of the episodes too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So stay tuned.
Yeah.
Because we got 3 more episodes.
3 more episodes. I'll be back for that season finale. I'll be back, baby.
I'll be back, baby.
Thanks so much for tuning in. You can check us out at onlysuitsfans.com. You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. You can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, or anywhere else you get your podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a review.
If you don't know how to start that review, you could say, I wish I could get 3 more episodes of Only Suits Fans. And you can.
You can. All right, we did it.
We did it.
Y'all have fun next week.
I know. I'm going to miss you, though.
Okay, I'm gonna miss you.
I